So now let us come to the case where the states k and k prime are degenerate. That means in one dimensional case, if I am just looking at the states within the first zone or small values of k, the first time the degeneracy that occurs between k and k prime, which are connected by the reciprocal lattice vector, which is 2 pi by a, is k equal to pi by a and k prime equal to minus pi by a, and or I can write down k equal to, or k prime is equal to k minus 2 pi by a, which is the reciprocal lattice vector. Sorry, no, one dimension, there is no need for the vector symbol. Okay. Now when these two are degenerate, then what we will do is a degenerate perturbation theory. So in the case of degenerate perturbation theory, what we need to do is when the states are degenerate, say psi 1 0 and psi 2 0 are degenerate, then we need to set up matrix of the perturbation in the basis psi 1 0 and psi 2 0. If we did that, then what we will get is the matrix of the perturbation, which is E1 because both E1 and E2 both are the same, so no need to put the subscript. So E0 plus psi 1 H1 psi 1 0 psi 1 0 H1 psi 2 0 psi 2 0 H1 psi 1 0, and then I will have E0 plus psi 2 0 H1 psi 2 0. So in our case psi 1 0 H1 psi 1 0 is equal to psi 2 0 H1 psi 2 0 is equal to V 0, and psi 1 0 H1 psi 2 0, this is psi 1, psi 2 0 is equal to V1, and psi 2 0 H1 psi 1 0 is equal to V1 star. So the matrix that we will get is the following: H1 is equal to E0 plus V0 V1 V1 star E0 plus V0. The eigenvalues of this matrix give the perturbed energies. So the eigenvalues are given by, this is a very simple 2 by 2 matrix whose eigenvalues can be obtained easily. The eigenvalues are given by E plus minus is equal to E0 plus V0 minus plus modulus V1. The perturbed eigenfunctions are psi plus minus is equal to e to the I pi by a plus e to the minus I pi by a plus minus that. Okay. Now, let us see what happens to the energies first and then look at the wave function a little more in detail. To see what happens to the energies, we know that when we have just an unperturbed Hamiltonian H naught, energy is a function of k, k is a good quantum number, and what we get is the following. A parabola which is h cross squared k squared by 2m. Now, when I have the perturbation, then I have the perturbation connecting states only which are at pi by a and minus pi by a, which are degenerate, and I will have a lifting of the degeneracy. So, I have a gap of 2v1 at this point. So, this is pi by a, and when I go to the next one, I will have a gap which is 2v2, and again further up if I go to pi by 3a, then I have 2v3 and so forth. So, let me also show it here this side. So, we can show it as something going like that, and then another state that is going like that, and another state that goes like this. So, there are gaps. So, this is 2v1, 2v2 and so forth. Now, let us look at what happens to the eigenfunctions, the perturbed eigenfunctions. To see perturbed eigenfunctions, we will do the following. So, psi plus goes as cosine pi by a times x, and psi minus goes as sine pi by a times x. Now, let us plot these two things. Here I have the sides. So, if I am trying to plot psi plus, then x is equal to 0, it is maximum. So, it will go as correct. And how does psi minus go? Psi minus goes this way. So, you will see the lattice sites are here, which are shown by dots. So, these are the lattice sites. Just one second, I have made an interchange of psi plus and minus. This is psi minus. So, psi minus is actually having large charge densities at the sites, at the lattice sites, and it also has nodes in between, nodes between the lattice sites. In this case, what we have is large charge density between the lattice sites and small charge density at the sites. Okay. So, and small densities near the lattice sites. And at the lattice sites. So, what does it mean? We know from chemistry that whenever you have a bonding molecular orbital, in the bonding molecular orbital you will always find large binding this charge density in the internuclear region or in the interlattice region. Whereas, for an antibonding state you will have a node in between the two in the bonding region or between two lattice sites. So, you see that it is actually put a node in between, whereas here it has piled up charge density in the bonding region. So, that is the reason why, this is the reason why psi plus has lower energy than psi minus. So, it is just basically that you are breaking the degeneracy of the two states, and in one state you are trying to pile up the charge density between the lattice sites, and in the other case you are trying to pile up the charge density at the lattice sites. So, one gives rise to bonding and the other gives rise to anti-bonding. So, this is the reason why you actually see a gap. Now, another important thing is that we can actually, we know that states with k vectors related by a reciprocal lattice translation vector have the same periodicity. That is e to the I k dot r and e to the I k plus k m dot r both have the same periodicity. So, because of that, instead of looking at energy as a single valued function of k and k going from minus infinity to infinity, we can think of energy as a multiple valued function with k restricted to minus pi by a to pi by a. In other words, we can do the following. We had k equal to 0, let us say, is here, and this is minus pi by a, this is pi by a, 2 pi by a, 3 pi by a, minus 2 pi by a, minus 3 pi by a. So, earlier what we had was a state like this. I have the energy here, and then I had a third energy. Okay. So, we know that we said so this is 2v1, 2v2, etc., etc. Now, what we can do is we can actually because we can take every one of the states here, for example, states in this band, and subtract 2 pi by a from here so that it comes here, and for this one I can add 2 pi by a so that it goes there. So, I will have a following picture. Same thing I do here, except that for these states I add 4 pi by a, and for these states I will add 4 pi by a, for these states I will subtract 4 pi by a, so that I will get the following states. Okay. So, what we have is the following, that is, we now will have everything defined within this region of pi by a to minus pi by a. So, what we were assuming k going from minus infinity to infinity, we have now got k going from just minus pi by a to pi by a, and what we can call them as what we can say is the following, that is, this one I can call as the first band, this one I can call as the second band, and this one I can call as the third band, and so on and so forth. So, from a picture which was an extended picture which was going from k equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, we have now compressed k to take values only within the first Brillouin zone minus pi by a to pi by a, and we have also said that energy now is a multi-valued or has multiple values for a given k, and we can call these different branches as bands. So, basically what we have is the following, that is, in the this picture is called the reduced zone representation. As opposed to this one which is called the extended zone scheme. In the reduced zone scheme, what we have is minus pi by a, pi by a, I will have one band which goes like that, a second band which goes like that, and a third band, and so on and so forth. And of course, we can always write it down in terms of what we usually used to do in simple way of representations of bands. We can say that this is the first band, there is a band gap, and then we have a second band and a band gap, and so on and so forth. So, this is band 2, this is band 1, and higher bands. And you will also see that as we go to higher and higher bands, the bands become broader. This is also true in real systems, not just nearly free electron models, because the orbitals are more extended as you go to higher and higher quantum numbers, and because of the higher extension they will have larger overlap, and there is a bigger spread in the energy of the states. So, this is the picture that we have for energy bands from the nearly free electron models, and we also have to know a little bit more of what happens, how the E versus k, how does the E versus k curve intersect at the zone boundaries. So, this is an important question that we want to ask. In order to answer that question, let us think of the following, that is, we have two states near the band edge, near the zone edge rather, okay, and one state has energy which is given by EL, the lower energy band, which is given by h cross squared at the zone boundary. So, I will call it KB plus delta squared by, rather it is minus because it is lower energy band, by 2m, and the higher energy band has energy h cross squared by 2m into k, which is zone edge, plus delta squared. So, basically what I am trying to look at is the energy levels which are close to this one. Okay. better shown in the extended zone picture. So, I am looking at energy levels which are here, which is the lower energy states, and energy levels which are higher energy states. So, these are the two things that I am looking at. Okay, so delta is somewhere close to that. In one case is minus delta here, and the other case is plus delta here. So, once having done that, because they are nearly degenerate, we can do a degenerate perturbation calculation, and if we do a degenerate perturbation calculation, then we have to solve for the following, the matrix elements of the following 2 by 2 matrix, which are given by EL minus E, V, V star, H minus E, and the determinant of this must be equal to 0. So, this gives me the quadratic equation in E, which is E squared minus E times EL plus EH plus ELEH minus modulus V squared equal to 0. Well, the solution for this one is just given by E is equal to plus minus is equal to EL plus EH squared, EL plus EH by 2 plus minus EL plus EH squared minus 4 ELEH plus 4 modulus V squared divided by divided by 2. Now, what do we have? I can now write down the following, that is EL plus EH squared minus 4 ELEH is equal to EL minus EH squared, and this is equal to H cross squared by 2m the whole squared times 4 kb squared delta squared. This we can actually get from the definition of EL and EH. So that I will have E plus minus is equal to EL plus EH by 2 plus minus 2 times modulus V, which I have taken out, times 1 plus H cross squared by 2m the whole squared kb squared delta squared divided by modulus V squared whole raised to the power half divided by 2. So, I will have these 2's cancelling, and I can get the energy as E is equal to EL plus EH by 2, that is the average of the two energies, plus minus modulus V times, actually this is a binomial expansion I can carry out for this quantity, which is actually of the form 1 plus x to the power half. So, 1 plus x to the power half can be expanded quite easily in a binomial series, and if I were to expand it up to the first order term, then what I would get is this times 1 plus 1 half of h cross squared by 2m the whole squared kb squared by delta squared kb squared delta squared divided by modulus V squared plus etc. Or just sticking to first order correction, then I will have E plus minus is equal to energy at the zone boundary, which is actually EKB plus minus modulus V minus of h cross squared by 2m delta squared plus minus 1/2 of h cross squared by 2m kb squared delta squared by V. So, we get the energies for the two bands. What you are seeing is the following, that is the energy approaches the energy of the bands approach the zone boundary quadratically. That is the energy delta goes as some constant times delta squared, okay, where delta is the displacement from the zone H. So, this shows that the first derivative of E with respect to delta is vanishing at the zone boundary which is delta equal to 0. So, when a curve intersects with a plane or with a line in a way that the slope is 0, it means that it is going to be perpendicular to the zone boundary. So, which means that the energy bands intersect the zone boundaries at right angles. Okay, so, this is one of the things that one can conclude from a nearly free electron model, and this also allows us to actually have what is called a periodic zone scheme, which I will discuss in my next lecture. I will stop at this point and we will continue again later. Thank you very much.